Hello, welcome back to Fallout 76. There's a legendary vendor sale that's about to start in a couple of hours. This vendor behind me, whose name I refuse to try and pronounce, will sell their random items for 25% off. So if you look at the menu now, they sell legendary modules and bolt steel, plus random items for scrip. Now, if you look at the prices, they stay the same as before the update, so they're super cheap relatively speaking now. They were cheap before, but now with the new scrapping system, these items now have a purpose, right? Before you were gambling on all the 4 factors that I mentioned before, right? The weapon or armor type, the first and second and third stars, right? So there were 4 factors of randomness. But because we can now scrap in order to learn the plans for some of these stars, and the item type doesn't matter, these things are now much more valuable than they used to be. So before you would just never get these things, right? Not unless you were just starting the game and you actually needed any kind of weapon or any kind of armor. But like I said before, with the new crafting system, the item type doesn't matter. So you're literally getting a 3-star legendary item that you can then scrap. The stars are of course random, but that's about as much as you can expect. You can still do expeditions if you want in order to get 6 random legendaries, but if you want extra items to scrap and you've got a bit of scrip left over, then these guys are actually well worth the spend. Especially because they'll be at 25% off, right? So that's what? 45 scrip for a guaranteed 3-star armor. Same goes for this, 75 scrip for a guaranteed 3-star legendary melee weapon. And the same goes for this, 75 scrip for a guaranteed 3-star ranged weapon. Like I said before, the item type doesn't matter. And while we're here, skip the power armor because the legendary properties are the same as normal armor. So do not get this unless you actually want a power armor piece. If you just want to learn the stars, then get yourself some random legendary armor. The stars are exactly the same. So in my case, I've been a bit foolish and actually bought some legendary modules at 100 scrip each. That was a bit of a waste, but I did end up learning a couple of stars from those named legendaries, so I guess it kind of works out. The daily scrip limit is still at 500 scrip per day, which I do think needs to go, but it's still there. For the time being, it's still there, right? Personally, I think that it should go because the only reason it existed before was to slow down how quickly you could re-roll your legendaries. It served as a bit of a limiter on how often you could gamble. But because we're now gambling on scrapping items, the scrip limit really has no purpose. So I wish it would go. It may or may not, but I do wish it would go, because it's pointless. I've said this before, but let me remind you once again that it is worth still scripting items that you don't want to scrap, right? If an item has no stars that you want to learn, then it should go into the scrip machine. Because scrip is actually useful for buying those random items. And for the next 4 days or so, they'll be at a 25% discount. So the next couple of days is actually the perfect time to make use of this new feature, right? Well, not actually a new feature, but a much more useful feature than it used to be. I never used these things, right? I never actually purchased any random items, because it just wasn't worth it. You were gambling on the item type. But now, these things are very worthwhile. People may not understand this yet, but these things are very worthwhile now. And I can tell you that in my case, I'll be buying lots of legendary armors because I want to learn unyielding. I've been lucky and I've learned bloody and explosive as well as reduced VATS cost, but I still want unyielding, so yes, I'm definitely buying these guys here. That sale also overlaps with a double mutations weekend. So what that means is that daily ops give you double the rewards. Enemies in the daily ops will have double mutations, so they'll be tougher, but in exchange, you get double the rewards. You also tend to get a couple of legendary items from daily ops, so that should also help you learn the plans faster. And overlapping with that as well, but going for a bit longer, is the mutated public events. They're also starting on the 5th, but they go for an entire week, until September the 12th. So the event that happens at the start of every hour will be mutated, so enemies in those events will have mutations. But once you complete that event, you'll get a special reward in the form of a party pack, which has a chance to give you some special rewards including legendary items. But if 3 or more Fallout 1 subscribers take part in the event, then the reward will be increased to a mutated party pack. Those are actually much better because you get a guaranteed 3-star legendary. The type of item is random and the stars are random, just like if you're buying something from the legendary vendor sale, but they are guaranteed 3-star legendaries. And with the new legendary crafting system, the more legendaries the better, right? So in any case, it is obvious that devs wanted to make sure that the start of the legendary crafting system was going to coincide with a lot of legendary items. Especially if you look further down the calendar, right? There are so many special events that I was really shocked. But in any case, because this legendary vendor sale is on, it is a good idea to script items that have legendary properties that you don't really care to learn. And in exchange, you can spend that script to get yourself random items that may have better stars, right? But of course that assumes that you actually give a crap about the legendary crafting system. If you don't worry. But if you do, then good luck.